Good morning and welcome to another face reading by Raising Excellence. My name is Agnieszka and I'm going to be face reading my friend Lisa, who is also
Hey.
part of our Autonomy crew. Lisa asked me today to do a little bit of an introduction on face reading and how I know these things and stuff like that. And even though I have talked about it a little bit on the show, I still want to do a bit more of an introduction today, maybe just for Lisa. So, um, Psychosomatic therapy is a study of muscle systems in the body, and not just muscle systems, bones too, and tendons and fascia. So everything that sort of your body is built out of, we study in psychosomatic therapy. And it's a system that's also based with or works with the chakra system as well. So we use the traditional oriental chakra system methodology and the different parts of the body that are governed by certain chakras, but we also bring that together with the muscle systems and different, like, see how this right here, there's like a little bit of a thing that actually means something, right, in psychosomatic therapy. And once I explain to you what all the different ticks in your body mean, you will see what I see when I look at you. And often it's extremely accurate or uncannily, like it brings up, like when I first had my first face reading before I even knew about psychosomatic therapy or anything, I thought that the lady knew stuff about me that I'd forgotten. That was like, for me, that was mind blowing. That's why I started taking this course, because like, how could she know this stuff? I haven't thought about it since I was 14, and suddenly this lady's like, "Oh yeah, you're a warrior," and I was feeling really weak at that point in my life. I was like, "Me, a warrior? Well, I used to be a warrior." You know what I mean? So so the other thing that happens in your body, so your bone structure is basically your blueprint, how you're standing up in the world, how you're working with the world, how you were born into the world, right? But your muscle systems, they reflect your thoughts more than anything. So muscles and tendons and soft tissue like that will reflect your thoughts. So if you have specific habitual thoughts that are constantly running through your head, they will reflect both on your face and on your hands and on your feet and throughout your body. And often if I do a face reading for you or a hand reading for you, the messages will be pretty much the same. It'll sort of repeat itself over and over. So that said, why don't we start face reading with Lisa? I am going to make you the hero. Hi, Lisa. Now your face is all
Hey.
over the screen. So, this beautiful lady is my friend, Lisa M., and she wants to know what her face is telling me about her. All right. Oh, interesting. So, the first thing I noticed, I know I'm supposed to start off with the face shape, but the first thing I noticed is your head tilt, right? Your head is not squarely on your shoulders, but it's tilted a little bit up. And that could be because of the video, but I know I've seen you do this before, so I suspect it isn't. So why is it that your head is just slightly up? And instead of being square on your shoulders, it's just a little bit, your chin is pulling up a little bit. So what that means is that you have really, really high expectations of your future, which may be good. But the one thing to remember about that particular head position is, are your expectations aligned with your reality? So are you stressing yourself out, pushing yourself too much, and causing your body stress because you're expecting to be here when you're only here? And so there is maybe the road where you're actually traveling on, the road you're expecting to travel on, maybe they need to come a little bit closer to each other. Doesn't mean you have to give up on your dreams, but maybe don't push yourself so much, right? Because this is all about, you know, leading with your nose instead of leading with your heart, right? When you have that yoga position, that yoga thing where they say string, like hair, or pretend your hair, there's a string from the bottom of your spine all the way up to the top and pull it up so that your spine straightens out. Um, when your spine is straight, you're in balance, right? But when you're pushing your head forward, that means you're trying to lead with your mind and forgetting that your body is part of the equation. Body, reality, earthly stuff, you know what I mean? Base chakra stuff. So, let me go to the face shape. So your face shape, I see you're pretty idealistic. We had a few idealists on this show already, but that's probably because I surround myself with friends who are idealistic, right? So definitely I see the idealism. I also see a lot of stubbornness and a bit of a squareness in your jaw. Not as much as I see with Tyler, but there is still a squareness in the jaw, with a little bit of flexibility. So basically, you're a very stubborn person and you like things to be just so. But when you're at a party, you can be very easygoing and you can be very approachable. And it's not going to show up as this very rigidness that you sometimes feel inside. You don't show up like that at parties, but you do have that rigidness inside you that's very, very strict. And I also know that you do stuff with money and numbers and things like that, right? So the strictness, the square jawness is probably really good for that kind of work, right? But you have been wise enough to soften it so that when you're actually conversing, you have the flexibility. I also see that you're clenching your jaw a little bit. So there is that stubbornness. And I wonder if that has to do with how you're pushing yourself to success a little bit, maybe a little too fast, according to your chin and your back of your head, right? So if you have that rigidness and then you choose to push yourself, you might be really hard. You might end up being really hard on yourself. So just think about that. You don't have to change anything you're doing. You don't have to change how you're looking at the world. Just consider, because there's always that little Lisa inside. And I don't know what your belief system is about this or whatever, right? But there's the inner child, the little girl that's a part of who you are. You grew up with her. One time when you were 4, you were both the same. You were both little 2 4-year-olds, you and the girl inside you. But now you're an adult and she's still a 4-year-old, right? So there's still that urge, that yearning for play, and your little dimples. When you smile, you have those cute little dimples there. Now you're not going to smile, I know. Yeah, those little dimples, they talk about playfulness, about being in touch with your inner child, about allowing her to make some of the decisions and playing with her and taking her out for walks and activities and stuff. So that's really important. Being in touch with your inner playfulness, your inner innocence is very, very important, especially in your line of work, because it allows you the balance, right? The hard facts with the joyous movement of laughter, right? So can I see your forehead? Can you raise, put up your hair a little bit? I want to see what the hairline. Oh, it's very strict. Oh, very strict, very idealistic. Okay, you don't live too much in the past. Can I see the other side? Okay, none of that stuff that we saw last time with Lawrence. Lived the whole thinking. Well, he had these hairs right here on the forehead, and what that means, he's like ruminating on the same thoughts on stuff that people said to him years ago, and it's still flowing through his head. You don't have any of that. You're not ruminating on other people's messages, which is awesome. You're only like being hard on yourself. So everything inside you is just self-manufactured.
Pretty accurate.
So, but that's good, because that means that you don't have to battle an army inside your head in order to stand up for yourself, right? You only have one person to worry about, which is yourself, which is much easier to do because you have an advantage. You know your own values, morals, you know your talents, you know your abilities, and you know how you react to things. So talking to yourself may be easier because you already know so much about yourself. That's where we come to self-parenting, right? By the time we're 20, we're done pretty much with our external parents, like our biological parents, the ones that actually brought us into this world. They probably have no more say after about 20 in reality, right? They might still talk, but it's not really. But then it switches to internal parenting. So then at about 20, we as humans are supposed to maybe stand up and take care of ourselves, but not take care of ourselves by pushing ourselves, telling ourselves what to do and how to do it, because that's really harsh for raising yourself, right? So how can you raise yourself in a way that you've always wanted to be raised? Like, what are the things that you've always wanted to see as a child that maybe weren't there because your parents didn't have your values, your morals, your abilities, your personality, blah, 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 right? So in that self-parenting aspect, I see that because of your high ideals, because of your ability to do things by the book, really, really great abilities. I don't have that, so I'm jealous. But you sometimes tend to box yourself up too. Like, the boxy attitude boxes your personality up. So allowing yourself a little bit more of Agnieszka, a little bit more butterfly, and creating that balance, right? So it's all about the balance. So looking at your forehead, I see you don't, there's nothing that you're holding energy on. You're not worrying, you're not overthinking things. Well, you sometimes do overthinking things, but it's more like flow of information. It's not this sort of amygdala hijack when you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no. You don't tend to do that, which is great. Your greatest feature, which is interesting because you have such a square attitude sometimes, your greatest feature is your heart. Your heart is the absolute biggest part of your personality, who you are and how you share your gifts with the world. So because that's what your face is telling me. So your eyes, so your heart is your eyes, right? And your eyes are the most beautiful, the most striking part of your face. So everybody has that one aspect, right? And I see that with you, it's all heart. And so that's how you serve the world, is with your heart. So even when you're doing accounting and you're doing investing and all that, you're still doing it with your whole heart, which is great, which is wonderful. I look at your ears and I see them being a little bit lower. So that would mean that you're very practical with your ears. Your ears are almost halfway in your base chakra. So ears can move. They can be up above in the mental zone, or they can be down below in the practical zone. Your ears are touching the emotional zone and then in the practical zone towards your chin. So that means that if I say I come to you with a problem, right, as a friend, you'll be like, okay, here's how we do it. We'll fix it this way and this way and this way. And this is how we need to, next steps are here, what you need to do, right? You're very methodical about how you hear my problem, right? You're not going to sit there and let me talk about my emotions for hours, because that's not who you are, right? You're going to be practical. You're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to fix it together and work on it together. So that's what your ears are telling me about how you deal with things that you hear, right? And then your nose is telling me, can I see the profile of your nose a little bit? Oh yeah, there's a bit of a ski jump there. That means that you like to have fun. You like to enjoy yourself. You're not all business. You're not all strict stuff. Even though there's a lot of strictness in you, you still like to, go to a nice party or a conference maybe, or enjoy people, like-minded people, or create those opportunities for yourself to have the social experience to really enjoy yourself. So that's wonderful. I see your lips are very expressive. So your nose, when we were talking about your nose and being fun-loving, that's your solar plexus. So your eyes are your heart chakra. This is your solar plexus. And then your mouth is your sacral, right? Which is not surprising. And your mouth's telling me that you can speak up for yourself. You can speak up for others, both equally. You can, you're pretty creative. You can express yourself. Your intuition is a little bit subdued. Like you might struggle a little bit with the intuition, not really sure what the intuition is telling you, but that is something you can still develop. It's not written in stone, because intuition, again, is a soft tissue. It's this dip here in the lips, right? It's a soft tissue thing. And I do see some tension. I know I've been talking a lot in this face reading videos about tension in the upper lip, but there's definitely some tension in your upper lip. So keeping a stiff upper lip may be important. And maybe that's part of you pushing yourself too hard. Not too far. Your dreams are not too big. It's just you're expecting the road to be a little bit shorter than it should be for your comfort or for your well-being. So the stiff upper lip thing, all you do is if you grab your lip like this and you squeeze it, you'll see that there are little muscles in there. Try it. Little tiny muscles. They're vertical like this. And they're probably a little sore when you squeeze them, aren't they?
A little, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of tension there. That's you pushing yourself, like, I have to do this, right? You're pushing yourself to being that way. So if you just relax these muscles, you'll find your whole attitude might relax. So the way I look at it, it's physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. They're all like in a circle, right? If you fix the problem on one level, it'll affect all other ones. So say you have a stiff upper lip, what could you do about it? Well, you could go dancing in the rain, right? Or you could massage your lip. Or you could, go hang out with some friends. Like there are all these different things you can do to loosen yourself a little bit, to give yourself a little bit more downtime or maybe it's not downtime that I mean. Maybe it's just like releasing that social energy or releasing that creative energy that we have in collaboration or whatever. Depends what works for you. Essentially, all I see is the tendencies in your face, but you know exactly what you need because you're the only one who has your morals, your values, your right.
Yeah.
So the little dimples on your face. So there are dimples and they're fun loving too. But I also see the double lines here, and often what the double lines when you smile, the little double little things here. Can you smile for us for a minute? There you go. See that there is a double line on the left hand side there, and there is one coming up on the right. So those are success lines. I find that if you have a double line, and I've read this in our manuals too. I'm not just making this up. Um, uh, that means that you're satisfied with where you are in life. You're pretty happy with what you've achieved so far, and and it's deepening for you. So it's like you're almost there. You know that you're on the right path to exactly where you want to be in life. That be accurate?
Perhaps my face hasn't told me that yet.
Well,
I'm not really feeling that.
I know you're pretty, but well, that second line is still developing, so maybe you're getting there. Maybe you're just, you know what I mean? Like it's not super clear double lines, but there I can see the shadow of the second one coming up. So you're good. You're good. You're on the right path. Um, hey, can I see your profile again for a second? Okay.
You want the other one?
Yeah. No, that was just for the ears, but that's cool. I still like it. Um, so yeah, so your determination and your ego are about in line with each other. Your determination may be a little bit pulled back, tiny bit. So I don't know how to explain that. When somebody's determination is held back behind their ego, that means that if they get offended, they might choose to change their path a little bit, or if somebody steps on their toes, they might not want to play with that person anymore, kind of thing. Like, taking it on the ego as opposed to being really determined. But with you, they're pretty equal, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Um, it's just, yeah, because your determination may be faltering a tiny bit, but then you're pushing yourself so hard, right? And so that I think it's just speaking about the general balance of the whole being. The other thing that I see in your face, other than you clenching your teeth a little bit at night, which is the stubbornness, trying to push yourself past things that you don't really want to do, maybe, or that you're not ready to face, like that. I do that too sometimes at night. I clench my teeth. Um, but the one thing that I do see is that your heart energy is not fully expressed. So that's coming back to your eyes. And so I see a little bit of a swelling underneath your eyeballs. It's not a lot, but it's just a little bit of swelling. And whenever there's swelling around the eyes, that's emotional baggage, emotional hurt. And so water is emotion, right? So wherever, no matter where in your body you see swelling, that has to do with an emotional state. So your feelings, even if in an injury, because the thought or the emotional states would precede the injury, right? You would have a specific emotional state, then you'd sprain your ankle, and then your ankle would tell me that you feel like you can't count on the people around you, right? Kind of thing. So in here, I see that there's a little bit, you're feeling a little emotional in your heart. You feel like you can't really express yourself fully because people may not understand you, or people may not understand where you're coming from. And so that again, it's just a little bit of a balancing act. Finding the right people to talk to about what's in your heart, maybe. Maybe you're trying to explain things to people that are just like, barren ground. The seed will not take no matter what you do. Or maybe there's a part of you that you're still holding back, that you're not actually expressing with people around you. Like maybe there's another layer of you that you still yet to discover. So, in how to you express. But there are some lines on your throat. I see. Sometimes, I would say sometimes maybe you hold your words back when you're trying to be nice to people and you feel that they're not going to understand you, what you actually want to say. You'll like wrap your words up in different stuff to like soften them. Can you tell me with the tip of your nose, is it soft or is it hard? Oh, it's very soft. It's very soft. So you speak from the heart and you try not to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't really want people to see people upset or hurt around you at all. So that's probably why you're holding back some expression, because you don't know how to say it to people. So you'd rather just, swallow your words. And that's what causes that little bit of puffiness here. See, I do that too. But yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Your eyebrows are pretty vivacious. They're nice and dark. I'm a little jealous. I wish my eyebrows were like that today. I should have put color on them, but I didn't. It's not my face reading after all. It's yours. But yeah, so the eyebrows, when the eyebrows are very pronounced, that not very pronounced, but when they're very visible, not like mine are so pale, right? It makes it easier to talk to other people. It makes it easier for them to hear you. The eyebrows are governed by the throat chakra. So I see a clear communication between your heart and your mind in this area here. So there is no wrinkles, no blockages, nothing. And then I also see the vivaciousness of your eyebrows, your ability to communicate effectively. So you just sometimes choose not to, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else can I say? Well, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, that was all very accurate.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you have ambitious cheekbones. So your cheekbones are governed by solar plexus, not the heart chakra. Cheekbones are tricky. Sometimes they're governed by solar plexus and sometimes heart. So mine are definitely the heart chakra cheekbones. They're soft and squishy like boobs, and they talk about taking care of each other and being a pearl. Whereas your cheekbones, they're the ambitious cheekbones. So you have much more definition here. And that talks about you wanting to achieve more, which absolutely is true. Like in our real life, you achieve way more than I do. But, I help. Like, I like to be nice to people. And you like to succeed. So it's fine. It's every kind of cheekbones is necessary for the world to go around. So it's all good. And you still have enough nurturing in your cheekbones to take care of people. It's not like you're not a hardcore MF.
All right.
So yeah, that's it. That's the only other thing they didn't talk to you about. Your cheekbones.
Okay. Yeah. No, it was really interesting. I'd say most of it was pretty dead on.
It's just your muscle systems. I'm not actually reading anything. I just know. So the weird thing about face reading is that everybody knows how to do it, and everybody does it every single day. But the psychosomatic therapy college that I attended to actually puts labels on it, so I can actually interpret what I'm seeing and say, oh, this is what that means. And then when I label it, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? And it's so it's like it's something we all subconsciously do anyway. But in this system, the founder, Herman Muller, the founder of psychosomatic therapy, actually created a system where we can label and name every single chakra every chakra that governs every single muscle and how it relates to the whole. And if I were to talk to you about your hands, it would be the same thing. Oh, hey, one thing to check on your hands. Can you tell me this part right at the bottom of your fingers? Is it soft and fleshy or is it hard and dry?
Well, it's all callous because I lift weights.
Yeah, you're hard on yourself. So that may be the whole thing. You're too hard on yourself.
I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah. There's no one else in your head to be hard on you, so it has to be you.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you're not like giving yourself enough of a feather bed.
It's very accurate. But I do also have that piece of me that likes to have fun or have some innocence that I feel like brings me alive. Yeah.
Yeah, the nose and the chin that allows you to go with the flow. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for being here with me. I think we're complete.
This was awesome.
It's only been a half an hour, but I think that's all I can read. And if you don't have any other questions, we're good.
I don't. Thank you.
You're pretty accomplished. Cool. It's all good. Well, thank you. Hang on. I'm just going to stop the video here. 1 sec.